And on that sweet Tibetan bowl note, let's get into this. Hi, I'm Mark DeGange, and welcome to my channel where we dive into amazing spiritual masters and their words, into meditations, do some clearings, get into healings, and a whole bunch more. So I'm glad you've joined me today because as you see, it's time to remember. Maybe that's the only thing we're doing on this earth is remembering. God, if I could have remembered who I really was growing up, it would have saved me a heck of a lot of pain and angst. But see, no one was giving me the real deal, and I knew it. I knew that I wasn't getting the real deal. So part of me was in rebellion. Not part of me, it seemed like all of me was in rebellion. I was just destroying everything in my path at times, cars, bones, you name it. Really was hurting and suffering. And part of that was based on misconceptions of who I am and what God is, if God even existed. Yeah, I went to parochial schools for 12 years. First with nuns, then with Christian brothers. Bless them for doing the best they could. But guess what happened to me? Yeah, at times I succeeded and they stuck me in front of people as an example. But other times I didn't. I was in a rebellious state. And then these spiritual beings, guides, teachers, would see us in the worst possible light. Why would you smack kids? Why would you put them down in front of others? Why would you throw them over desks? Why would you hit them with books? We were not seen with godlike qualities as if we had that inside of us. No, we were seen as corrupted mortals with character defaults. In other words, good and bad, light and dark. That's how we were perceived. So, of course, I must be that. My true nature must be dark and light at the same time. I mean, this is horrible. How could someone do that to you? But as a kid, you just accept it. You think, well, I guess, yeah, I'm kind of bad. So I'm rebellious. Yeah, I'm not really good. I got to work for it. I got to be nice. So, of course, you do these things to you wash the family car. Then the groceries come for to the rectory for the nuns. You run over and do your good deed, and you feel like really good, and they like you and they love you, and all this stuff. And then you get into high school, and then you're dealing with a lot of brothers. They didn't act like they were brothers, not even regular brothers, nor did they work up or even have this word Christian in front of their name. Christian, I mean, it's hard to believe. Yeah, they did the best they could. That's what I knew, and so be it. We were living in ignorance, depraved ignorance. Yeah, there's a lot of suffering in those days. And so I didn't trust anyone. I really didn't. And why should a person trust anyone when my pure childlike heart knew that I wasn't getting the real deal? Of course I wouldn't accept it. Of course I didn't trust anyone. No mentors. I'd go through this life, and if I have to suffer till the last day, so be it. I mean, that's the way I felt. I mean, I was just a raging agnostic, and et cetera, et cetera. And it took me finally, I don't know, whatever age I was, in early 30s, to find a spiritual teacher in New York City who gave me that connection that my soul thirsted for. I mean, I had that calling. I had that calling, you might say in those days, it translated into the priesthood or to some sort of a deep spiritual life given to God. But this kind of a God? God allows this? Ain't no way, baby. I'm out of here. So that's why we need to remember so much of the world is in a state of amnesia, forgetting. Like right now, in the COVID-19, people are forgetting their strength, their inner nature, their God-given right to be healthy. And health does not depend on something outside of you. Of course, got to love yourself, get good air, exercise, eat foods as close to nature as possible. Yes, we do all those things, but we're perfectly programmed. Our soul knows what to do. Our immune system is based on love. We are created in that image and likeness, without getting into any religious trip about it. That image of wholeness, that image of light. We come out of eternity. We're eternal beings. We're living spirit. I mean, I remember once, I don't know how many years ago it was, I don't know where I lived at the time, but I had this vision that if spirit gave up here, in other words, my spirit, if it left right now, my body would go, and I'd be dead hunk, like a dead hunk of meat, just like when a tree branch rots and is dead, it falls, just like my hand right now. No effort, it falls. There's no life in it. The spirit has departed. So I saw that vision so clearly, that I am spirit, although I seem to be in a body, I seem to be with a body, I seem to be animating a body, excuse me. So I am the animation of the body. I am spirit. Of course, it makes perfect sense. The spirit leaves and there's nothing left. Burn the body, throw it in a river, throw it in the woods. Let it fertilize the animals and the plants, etc. There's nothing left. It's just a body. Yet, we think this is the real deal. We think we came from a physical inheritance, a mechanistic worldview. And that's so pumped up and promoted. Even these days, you think like there's this conflict between the light, more and more people are waking up. You see it in Instagram, you see it in YouTube, you see it all over the world, that people are claiming oneness, are claiming unity. And yet, there's so much to fear. I could die. Okay, if I died. If COVID-19 took me out, baby, I'm good. I don't want to die. I love my wife, my children. I want to be here for them. I want to play and party and all that good stuff and be a support for them. But I know I'm moving on. I know I'm going back into the light. I know my spiritual body remains intact. But that's the deal. We're not taught that. Our divine inheritance isn't just continuously passed on through our parents and through everyone. It's not what you learn in school. I mean, this should be universal teaching, which is why spiritual masters talk about being born as the first death, and the second death is the one that takes you out. Yeah, we're dying from spirit to supposed to be living in the flesh. It's the opposite. It's completely backwards. No. This self, higher self, my soul said, okay, time to go back, time to be on earth, time to live, time to get more experience, learn about oneness in the flesh, vibrating in this sphere of limitation, so to speak. Limitation only in that I'm limited if I'm stuck in limiting beliefs about who I am, false beliefs. So many spiritual teachers say the same thing. I couldn't speak to you unless the spirit was flowing through me. Again, my head, my senses would just be Zippo, nothing. I'd fall on the floor. So we need reminders. All the saints, especially the greatest masters like Jesus, knew the same thing. They knew where they came from. Jesus always pointed to God, away from himself. Without the Father, Mother, God, I can do nothing. That was his message. But if it's outside of me, then how do I get there? Am I going to just be groveling up the pathway on my knees, bleeding knees, trying to get to the holy temple? I'll never get there. I'll be bled out of life by the time I get there. But no, he said it's inside. The kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven is inside. It's an inside game. We got to get into the inside game, which is why meditation is so valuable. I mean, I've done this for years. I've taught it for years. We need these reminders, like this classic thing on my forehead. Remember. Can you read that? Can you read that? Remember. Yeah. I'm in the process of remembering. Sometimes people need sticky notes. Put them on your fridge, put them on your computer. Remember who the F you are, baby. Yeah, Jesus, the Christ, was always in remembrance of his divine nature, where he came from. His name was not Christ. Christ was his title, anointed one, sonship, universal love. He knew that. He knew that. He implanted himself in the womb of a woman. And fortunately, she didn't pollute him. She was pure in her own way. So he came forth knowing who he was. He was teaching right away, right out of the gate. He knew. So that's what came to me years ago in New York. I said, if I can only remember. I got to remember. And I said, well, what do I need to remember? I didn't know what I needed to remember. But I knew I needed to remember something. And then when Jesus came back into my life, again, I'm not saying like I'm one of those, hey, I'm saved, baby. Just, I understood intuitively that this man had not forgotten who he was. He came in with that remembrance, that connection. It was never severed. And that's all he was saying. That's what love is, the expression of remembrance. That's what the Christ is. That's what this word logos is, the Word made flesh. Well, so I'm the living Word. I'm the Word of God, pure and simple. And I need to connect with that. We need to connect with it. That's who we are. Be still and know that I am God. Oh, that's a bold thing to say. Do I dare say that? Yes. I dare say it. You dare say it because it's true. You have a sonship in God, your divine inheritance, your innocence, your purity, your joy is right there. At the core, you are the joy. You are joy. You don't need to prove it. You don't need to do a lot of good acts, but you don't need to prove it. Yeah, in some ways we do need to prove it because life is always giving us it seems like trials. See, that's a point of view. There will be trials because as your light gets stronger, you get tested. Ignorance tries to pull you down into the state of ignorance. Evil does, shadows do. You'll see a lot of people around you if you're emanating joy and light, it's like, hey, how can you be like that when everyone is dying from disease or these wars? So I say, well, shouldn't I be that? Shouldn't the peace, the harmony that is in my being, shouldn't I give that out? Shouldn't I rely on that? Shouldn't I promote that? That's what I'm doing today. I'm promoting, I like that word, promoting who I am, who you are. Yeah. Sticking it out on a hill. I remember when I wrote this book, Be Still, Behold, and Dance to the Divine, Making Daily Acts a Heartfelt Spiritual Practice. On the back, I said, gee, should I write this? This sounds a little too much, no, I said, I got to say it. I said, Marc Leclerc de Gange is an author, humanitarian, spiritual guide, healer, and anchor of the light of the Most High. I am anchoring that light. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to anchor the light for me, for you, for this world. I acknowledge that. No one is going to turn off my light ever. Ever. And believe me, moving to the light, I almost killed myself to get to the point where I was ready to even accept and embrace that I was okay, that I was innately good, etc. What a deception. What a deception. No wonder I was so angry. I wasn't getting the real deal, and I knew it. Children know it. They know if their parents are full of crap. They know it. When you see a child playing at the beach, innocent, fun, there's that joy. There's that life. They're not jaded. They haven't grown up into these stiff adults who are completing stages of life and then moving on. No, they're in the moment. They're in the moment. We need all the remembrances we can get. Yeah, it's my job to be a living remembrance of what is. And just let it be. It's so much easier. They don't have to struggle through a lot of illusion. It's like constantly, fighting through illusion, the veil. It's called the veil. It's called mesmerism. It's called illusions, pure and simple illusions. I had this idea once. I said this. I wish I could just find the zipper and just pull down the zipper and walk out of here into the real universe. Yeah. No, the second death, when I move on, is not going to be the second death. It's going to be expanding into a bigger room, as the Bengali sage Ramakrishna said. I'm just in a bigger room. That's all he said. I'm next door. I'm in a bigger room, a lighter, brighter room that fits me now that I've dumped the body. Now that the body is no more. Yeah, we're going into brighter and brighter rooms of light. And really, these brighter and brighter rooms are in ourselves. It's in our consciousness, in our heart. Isn't that good news? I don't have to go to I really don't have to go anywhere to find this. Don't have to go to a doctor, the guru, don't have to go to India, monasteries. And I did all that stuff. I guess you had to do that. And back in the 80s and into the 90s, we did a lot of that stuff. Now you don't have to go anywhere. You get it direct. I mean, the internet, see, we're all waking each other up. Isn't that beautiful? And when the crapola comes, people point it out. People point out, I don't believe that. I don't have to live by your trip. My God is here. The spirit of life is here. I can claim that divine mind any day of the week. Just got to remember, not to forget. We forget a lot. Remember that scene from The Lion King when what's that baboon, that wise comical one called Rafiki? He goes out and he finds Simba, and Simba's all kind of partying, thinking Kuna Matata, all that garbage. And then he said, come with me at night. Look into the water. What do you see? And of course he saw Mufasa, the reflection of his dad, like he was, kind of the image and likeness of his dad. Okay, good enough. And then he gets up and he's just like, whoa, what happened? And then that apparition in the clouds, remember, remember. That is so perfect. I mean, it's so true. And then he goes back and claims his lion inheritance, the pride rock. Standing up. It's like, again, a metaphor for standing out and standing up for who you are. That's all we're doing. We're standing in the light of the most holy, because we are holy. We are pure. You are pure. Feel this. You are pure. You are pure, divine essence, incorruptible, unsullied, unstained, unbroken. Life cannot break you. Life cannot soil your soul. Your soul is immortally pure. You are divinity expressed. You are innocence made manifest. You are the joy of life. You came in to be the joy of life. Live it. Be it. Know it. Love it. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Say yes. Yes is immortal. Yes is. Yes to my divinity. Yes to I am whole. Yes to my spiritual perfection. I am spiritually perfect. I am. It's all it takes. It's all it takes. It's all it takes. Listen to this wonderful quote from my book. I would created these quotes, and they would be a lead-in, kind of setting the theme for the story, Let There Be Light. And so listen to this. Imagine a ceaselessly renewed stream of loving light pulsating from the source. That's you. And it's so true. That is you. A ceaselessly renewed stream, like the flow of life, of loving light. You are love, and you actually are a light being. You're not dense, corporeal, whatever, darkness. No, you're light. You are the colors of the rainbow that never can be taken out of the sky of your heart. You are. You are. Along with that, I wrote in this book, I don't know if you can see this, a divine Bill of Rights. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's kind of cool. A divine Bill of Rights. I came from God. I live in God. I am inseparable from God. Therefore, I am one with God. As God's expression, I reflect what God is: truth, life, and love. My life is eternal. Therefore, the substance of my being is incorruptible, lasting, and real. I live the law of divine love and love all beings as my very own. Love is source, God, universe, liberation. Then I give this thing I call a divine deepening, which is a little exercise at the end of each poem or story. Let your soul speak and define your divine Bill of Rights. Write it down, meditate on it daily for a week. Edit as often as needed. Live it. So that's what I'm offering to you, to live it. Just live it and be it, because that is who you are. Your life can never fade into the shadows of oblivion. That's impossible. Yes, I love you as you are, and your love continues even when your body is no more. So remember that. Stay in remembrance of who you are. So I've read a couple of things from these books, and to me, my two books, Be Still, Behold, and Dance to the Divine, and my other one, Nuggets of Spirit on the Run, there's more to come, are books of remembrance of who I am. So my statement came out, declaring the light which is in me in the world. And these books can be had easily on Amazon, both of them, and the Be Still, Behold, and Dance to the Divine is also an audiobook on ACX, the branch, the Audible branch. It's about a 4-hour book. I recorded it. So go pick it up, support this wonderful work that's happening in the world. And I love you. I am with you. Thank you for remembering to be yourself, letting that immortal light shine into the world. I'll see you again.